Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Continuing a little LEC power ranking action. And we've moved on to number 6. We're into playoffs now, Mark. The playoff bubble. And the playoff bubble is something that Excel has been trying to break, well, since they joined franchising. And I feel like 2021 is the time because they have one of the most hyped up young mid laners coming in. Czekolad, the Polish phenom from AGO Rogue, who's been dominating, won EU Masters in summer, won the Polish Ultraliga a couple of times, and he's got a pretty impressive highlight reel already for not being in the LEC.
He's done what you'd want from a young player, right? Or a young player, what you'd ask for. He's put up results. He's put trophies in his trophy cabinet. And now he's ready to take that big step onto the big LEC main stage and do it. I think that Excel, what they've done, what they did this off season, I think a lot of people should be pretty happy, right? This is, I think, a better result than people might have expected from Excel and what they could pivot to. They kept what they wanted, their core, what they need to really, perform well, or what they were doing last year. And then they add potential, right? You add potential, skill, and high-end skill at that to this roster. I like the moves that Excel has made.
Yeah, the core group that they kept, Patrick, Torre, and Kryze, I think, obviously Patrick, I mean, the guy was all pro without even making a playoff team, or not being on a playoff team. So Patrick and Torre, absolutely no-brainer to keep them. People were even talking about Fnatic should have pursued Patrick once Reckless ended up leaving. So he's in that level of conversation in the scene, and deservedly so. And Kryze is a guy who we saw develop quickly, someone that they wanted to promote, and we saw him playing carry super well, which is the meta in top lane and has been for a while. And then you have Dan and Czekolad come in. Czekolad we talked about. People were maybe, I know I was a little sad to see Kadril step down, but obviously he's going to have opportunities on some broadcast crew. The LEC would be insane not to hire him. But Excel was smart and said, you know what? We have to have a UK jungler. We're a UK organization. So they say, Dan from Fnatic Rising, come on over. And I'm excited to see him get a legitimate shot on that starting stage.
Right, not necessarily to the degree of Czekolad, and as far as what he's done as far as trophies, right, at the early stages in his career. But when you're talking about what we've seen from him, the gameplay, what we've seen him play, even, very few games at the LEC main stage level, this is someone that's ready. He is absolutely ready and to take that next step in his career, to take that next step in competition. And I like that Excel, as you said, sticking with that UK jungler, that UK theme. I think that's a nice one to stick through, and especially when you can add a nice young guy like this that's ready to take that step.
And remember, he's been training, or at least learning, being a sponge behind Broxah and Selfmade on Fnatic, who are two pretty damn good junglers, pretty much consensus top 2 in their role the entire time that they played in the LEC, which is why our man Dan wasn't able to get a starting spot.
Hey, now he does have a starting spot, and I think it's damn time that he's gonna make it proof for the rest of the world to see why we wanted him to get the spot like this. And as you said, with Excel, what they had before, and adding to this and the potential that they can have, I think this should be the minimum. This should be the minimum that they're hoping for and looking for, right? Is that last spot in the playoffs, and anything else, that's what you're working for, my man.
They've done everything right since the organization came in. They've been fully invested in growing the team, and we've seen the growth from split after split. Remember, they were terrible in their early years, and now it's kind of back-to-back splits where we've seen them be so close. We're talking a single game away from making it into playoffs. We've seen them have competitive games against the Fnatics and G2s of the LEC, and it just feels like the continued growth of Patrick really emerging as a star in the region. Kryze continues to grow, and now more youth coming in. It's still an overall young team. Even guys like Torre and Patrick who've been around are barely even 20, so there's still plenty of room to grow, but this is the year I'm smelling playoffs.
Hey, people, it was around the same time that we first started to get to see upset at the LEC level. People wanted to talk about the potential of Patrick, right? And then we had kind of a year or two go by, and it seemed that, upset quite, considerably increased his performance and what we could expect from him. Patrick didn't quite do the same, but this has certainly been at least a year now that he regained some of that ground on someone like Upset and put himself into that, as you said, into that conversation for the top ADCs in the LEC, and or you can't compete with that top level of ADC. And if XL are going to go anywhere, Patrick's going to have to continue that growth, continue that level of play, only higher.
And they still have Young Buck, obviously, kind of running the show there, which is a great person to have at the head of your organization. I would have loved to see Kadro stick around in a coaching role because, as we've seen with him on Analyst Desk on the broadcast, he's got an incredible mind for the game. I have no doubt that he could step into that coaching role, but he's pursuing other opportunities. I get it.
Someone better be getting him to make sure he's getting that cash, my man, because hey, you better be signing whatever type of fat coaching contract, casting contract, analyst contract, whatever it's got to be. My man's got skill. He's got charisma. Let's see him put to work.
I'm sure he's just waiting to put some ink to paper to sign a contract wherever he ends up going. But yeah, he better have a legit job with Riot when 2021 does roll around. We got a new logo for XL, a new year, and a new run through playoffs coming in at number 6 on the LEC preseason power rankings. That's it today for League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys. We will continue the countdown of European teams in the preseason, but for now, catch you on the flippity